Hi. Hi, yes, Lila's been curling my hair again. I think she likes to pretend she's like my hair ninja. My hair ninja. My hair ninja. Listen, I'll take any excuse for somebody to play with my hair. So, hello, I'm glad you're here. It's quiet. Why is it so quiet in here, Mike? I don't know. It's quiet today. And I wore this really nice light colored shirt, and I'm going to be inky today. That was what you call a really bad mistake. Anyway, hi, I'm glad you're all here. So this is kind of spontaneous. Now it doesn't seem spontaneous because I mentioned last week I was going to go live today, but I didn't really get to do a whole lot of planning over the weekend because, yeah, I kind of crashed. But yesterday I was like, you know, I really, really want to do more with embossing folders. And I've been wanting to do this live for some time, but I haven't had a chance to do it. Oh, thank you, Cammie. Cammie just brought me the cord. I'm wearing, somebody asked about what pants I'm wearing. They're dog flannel pajama pants with my dog apron and my Not Should Be Inking In shirt. Anyway, I've been wanting to do a follow-up, kind of like a follow-up or an addition to the class I did a long time ago. I think it was in February for Simon Says Stamp. It's a free class. You don't have to have the supplies. You can use what you have on hand. I did it in February. If you look in my YouTube description below, at the bottom of the supply list, it'll say like class about embossing folders, and other videos are linked there too. And I've been wanting to build on that, and yesterday I was like, that's perfect. That's what I want to do tomorrow. Thankfully, I texted Heidi, and she and her team, Stephanie especially, put together a special offer for you all. The techniques I'm doing today are all about embossing folders. I will be using 3D embossing folders from Simon Says Stamp because they're my favorite type. However, the techniques I do today can be done with a variety of different companies. And I'll talk about the different different types of 3D embossing folders and embossing folders that are out there, okay? But today I'm focusing on the Simon Says Stamp embossing folders. Again, if you missed that class, be sure to take it. It's free. It's on the Simon Says Stamp YouTube channel. It's in the bottom of the supply list below. Let me think of what else I was going to say. So what I really wanted to do today is I'm kind of having a hard time getting into the swing of things again. I am not cracking a beer. It's a LaCroix. Getting back into the swing of like being creative. So I really thought a creative playtime was in order. And this is where I kind of play around with some techniques. I try things I've never tried before, so you may see me crash and burn. But I think it's important sometimes for me to share this process because I feel like sometimes you at home might watch and think, oh, she can figure all these things out. No, no, no. I do a lot of practice off screen, right? Before I bring it to you, because I don't want to waste your time like doing things that don't work. So I usually test everything out and plan it ahead of time. But sometimes I think it's good for you to see that kind of just playing around and seeing what can come from it. So it's a little bit of both today. All right. I have some things I know I want to do, and then I have some things I want to try, and we could crash and burn. Who knows? All right. I will talk about the Empress today with the embossing folders. I'll talk about all that. Okay, so that is my plan today. So when I told Heidi that I was going live using her embossing folders, the Simon Says Stamp embossing folders, she said that I could give 25% off. Is there a, yeah, 25% off. I don't have an image for it. It's 25% off their embossing folders. So you get 25% off the Simon Says Stamp embossing folders, which I'm using a bunch of today. And I've used many in many videos, so you know that I really love them. I think they are by far the best at giving lots of deep dimension that you just can't get any other way in crafting. So you can get 25% off the Simon Says Stamp exclusive embossing folders using the code EMBOSS through 7/29. So that is under the top of the YouTube description under special offers. Okay, so you can see that there. If you're over at Simon Says Stamp, they also randomly put things for sale, like deep discount sale, not like a little wimpy sale, like a meaty sale. And this morning they had a ton of what?
That just sounded funny.
Meaty?
A meaty sale.
A meaty sale.
Yep.
Sometimes they have these really deep discounts. And this morning I noticed they had a bunch of really good things on deep discount. So I put a link to that sale category under special offers too. So it's really a great opportunity to get, save quite a bit. I mean, they've got some stencil sets that are like $1 or $2 and some embossing folders and stamps and dies, a bunch of things on sale. So both things are linked under the special offers below. Yeah, it's a very generous discount code. Okay, let me get a drink. Okay, so again, I'm just going to be playing with 3D embossing folders today, but these things can be done with other embossing folders. All right, I'm focusing on the Simon Says Stamp embossing folders. Oh dear, it looks like it's blown out. Hang on. No, it's not bad. Is that bad? Let me see. No, it's fine. Okay. It's just that top corner's bright. I don't know why. Okay. So I am focusing on the 3D embossing folders from Simon Says Stamp. The reason why these create such great dimension is see how thick they are. These are very, very thick embossing folders. And the advantage of that is you can get areas that are like raised, and then you get the flat back area, but then you get like dimension between it. So, like these little, you can kind of tell this pattern has like an angle to it because it's that much dimension, right? So it's not just that there's raised areas and flat areas like you get with a traditional embossing folder. With a 3D embossing folder, you get like these smooth, raised looks, different degrees of height too. So maybe it'll be a floral background where some flowers have a little more dimension to it than others. They're fantastic. Now you can use these with whatever die cut machine you have. I will be using it today with the Empress, and I'll show you the sandwich that I use for that. If you do not know, if you don't have the Empress and you want to know what sandwich to use with the Simon Says Stamp 3D embossing folders, if you go to their website, they have information. It tells you like what sandwich for each of the machines, okay? But I will be using the Empress today because I have it set up right here. All right. Everything good, Mike?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to dive in and play. We're gonna play, okay? I'm using some new stuff, some new embossing folders, some old embossing folders. I'm just grabbing whatever I thought might work well for a particular technique. Now, I will say, each time I will talk, like each technique I try, I will tell you if like a certain type, like style of embossing folder is better than another. And I think I'll probably give you multiple examples, so you can see it done with two different folders, all right? So now when you're using embossing folders, you could of course use just regular cardstock. You can mist your cardstock with a little bit of water first, which gives you often a deeper, more detailed impression. You don't have to do it, but it often can help. However, I oftentimes don't use regular cardstock with my embossing folder. Instead, use a specialty cardstock because it gives you so many other things you can do. Now, in that video that I did, the class that I did for Simon Says Stamp, that's linked in the bottom of my YouTube description, I showed a lot using white glossy cardstock. Let's see. Like this background here was done with white glossy cardstock instead of regular cardstock. It gives like a porcelain kind of look, and there are a lot of cool things you can do with them. So today I'm going to play more with some other specialty cardstocks, but I will also use regular cardstock later on. I do plan to use some specialty cardstocks, and then I'm going to do some distress ink techniques. That's why I have blue fingers, and some other inking techniques. So a little bit of everything. So just stick with me if you're like, oh, I don't have certain specialty paper or whatever. Okay. Now, Brianne just put, hi Brianne. Brianne, thank you for doing that. She put a link in the YouTube description or in the chat for the class that I did with Simon. So you can check that out if you haven't yet. Yeah, the white glossy cardstock is fantastic in embossing folders. And the first technique I'm going to do now is black glossy cardstock. So I have some pre-cut panels here. I keep pre-cut panels like this. I'm having trouble. Like something's going on with my camera. It's blowing things out. I don't know why. Let's see if that's better. I need a new camera. It's older than dirt. So I like to keep panels pre-cut. I have pre-cut white glossy, some gold matte, some silver matte, and some black glossy. These are all Simon Says Stamp brands. I have them linked below. In that class, I did a lot with white glossy. Today, I wanted to show you with black glossy, because black glossy is something that if you've watched my videos, I often like to cut from it for sentiments. Instead of just using black cardstock, I like to use black glossy because it gives you that little bit of shine that I think is really makes it stand out more. Well, it turns out it's very good for embossing folders too. All right, so somebody just asked who made the cards that are behind me on this on display. Those are all from friends. Those are all from friends. I didn't make any of those. They're all wonderful cards from friends. Okay. All right, so let's get started. So this is black glossy cardstock from Simon Says Stamp. One side has that black gloss. The other is just like feels like regular cardstock. So the core of this is a cardstock. It just has a black shiny finish on top. All right. There are other companies who have glossy cardstock. I know Memory Box does. I'm sure there are others, but the Simon Says Stamp is what I'm using today. All right, so the first embossing fold I'm going to use is from their newest release. They just had a new release. I didn't get to do a video with it because I was out of town, but I can play with it today. This is called Flower Puff, and I just really like the style of it, and so I thought I'd use it for the first one. Now, in my final card, I really wanted to have an oval that pops up from the background. And when you're going to die cut from a embossing folder background, it's better to die cut first, then use the embossing folder, because if you use the embossing folder first, then die cut it, you smush, which later I'm hoping, if I remember, to show that a technique where you want that to happen, okay? But I want to have an oval popped up in my background, maybe a little bit smaller. This is the new Simon Says Stamp Chunky Ovals. Fantastic name. They're proportioned just right to fit onto an A2 card panel, so 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. So before I do the embossing folder, I think I will cut the oval first. Sorry, I'm not thinking really straight here. Okay, so black glossy cardstock, the new chunky oval dies from Simon Says Stamp. Put that right kind of in the center-ish, you know, the best you can do. All right, and I'll run that through and die cut it. So I think it's best to do, you'll see, I'm gonna pop up that oval center. So that's why I'm die cutting first. All right, so now I'm just gonna pretend this is still connected. And the way I do that is I'll just put a little bit of tape on the back. This is just Easy C tape. And I'm just going to tape it back into place. And now we'll just pretend it is still whole. All right, so now I will put this into the Flower Puff embossing folder. Now, one thing that is really important with folders, and something that's really important to pay attention to when you're doing techniques. Aw, Joanne. Thank you. I needed that. One thing that's really important when you're doing embossing folder techniques and like checking them out in videos is there are two sides in the embossing folder. One side, the pattern is raised. When you run your fingers over it, I feel the little flowers. On the other side, the background is raised and the flowers are indented. So a lot of times what I like to do is I put a heart on the side where the pattern is raised. That way I don't always have to figure it out, but it's up to you. So oftentimes when I use a folder for the first time, I put a heart on the side where the background, or I'm sorry, where the pattern is raised. Now onto that side where the pattern is raised, I'm putting my black glossy cardstock. Now for these 3D embossing folders from Simon Says Stamp, it's very simple what you do with the Empress machine. Keep in mind, you can use these folders with lots of different machines out there. And they're on the Simon Says Stamp blog, they actually have like a guide to what sandwich is needed for a variety of machines. Brian, if you could find that link over on the Simon Says Stamp blog and add it, that would be really helpful, if you can. So what all I do is a clear plate, the 3D embossing folder, and the metal shim, and that's it. That's it. Those are the only things you need, because remember that embossing folder is a fat embossing folder. It's chunky, okay? So now I'm going to run that through. Sometimes you might find that embossing folder might need a little more pressure, and if so, just put a piece of cardstock in as a shim. And there you go. You can see the pattern. Now, what you're seeing there, you see where the white is exposed? That is because this is a really fine pattern and the black glossy is cracking. Now that doesn't happen with all embossing folders. It's okay that it's doing that, you'll see. Say you have a smoother embossing folder or like smoother details, not that tiny little print. Let's see, like this one. This is Groovy Florals. I think this one might be better. I'm trying to think of one that might be smoother. Here, let's try this one. Simon Says Stamp Everlasting Florals. This might be a bit better. Let me put a black in there just to show you. The reason you have that white cracking showing is because these are teeny kind of sharp florals. Not all embossing folders will do that with the black glossy cardstock. If you have like bigger florals that are smoother, it would just stay black shiny. But this is going to work really well. All right. So you can see here, this one doesn't do, it's more of a smooth finish. See? The smooth black shiny. All right. Hi, Christopher. Good to see you. I owe you a text. I tell you, I promise I will. I will. It's good to see you. Okay, so this is the Flower Puff. I'm going to go back to this one. I'm going to get a piece of cardstock, a scrap cardstock, and those of you who are familiar with Concord and Ninth Marmalade that was discontinued, I use it as scrap cardstock because I can't use it in videos because it makes people mad that they can't get it. So anyways, remember this is just still taped together. What we're going to do is sand the black shine off of this, because remember the white, it's a white core cardstock with just a black shine on top. We're going to sand that away, and you have a few choices on what you can use. I personally think the best thing you can use is a Tim Holtz Distressed Sanding Disc, which I talked about this in that class. This is the inking tool that Tim Holtz has had with Ranger for a long time, and he has these sanding discs that are cut to go right on it, so you can sand with it. You can cut these in half so you can use them more or get into tighter areas. You can use a sanding block if you have one, or sandpaper if you have one. These are nice because you can target areas. Another thing you can use are these paper sanders, these sanding blocks that I use a lot in my videos. I really like using these for this technique. However, you end up going through them pretty quickly if you do a lot, okay? So the nice thing about this is you can just pitch these once, because what's gonna happen is some of that coating, that black coating will come off into the sanding paper or the sand block, and it'll kind of be stuck on there. So it's something to think about. You could use either. And I'll be using both today, okay? So let's do the sanding block first, or the paper sander first. I'm just going around. You want to kind of go in both directions and just sand off the top. Now it looks kind of cloudy, give it a minute. And all I'm doing is sanding off the finish. Now, I'm doing this with black glossy cardstock. You can do this with any glossy cardstock, such as that white glossy cardstock that I showed a lot in that class. You can do this with gold matte cardstock, because like gold matte cardstock is white cardstock with a gold finish on top, right? So you can do this technique with gold matte cardstock. You can do this with silver matte. You can do this with holographic. So you really can do this technique with any kind of cardstock that has a coating on top, like this black glossy does. I just personally like it on the black glossy because it's boom. You have the white and black contrast. Tim Holtz has some great metallic cardstocks that have even like a craft core, so it would expose the craft behind it. He's got a lot of great options for that. I've used most of mine. I need to buy some more, otherwise I would have used them today. So you can see how I'm able to sand that. Now, it looks a little cloudy right now. What you need to do is take a dry cloth and take off all that extra. I don't know if it shows well on there, but I will hold it up for you. So now that pattern is white. Isn't that cool? Look how detailed. Isn't that wonderful? And if you see some areas where you need to sand some more, I just kind of go with like the edge of this and it works great. Okay. I might try this one with remind me to try this with holographic cardstock when we're done, because this particular folder could be really cool with that. Okay, so anyways, that gives you an idea. Isn't that cool? I love it. Black and white. I think right now you could leave this as is. You could leave this as is, but you know I'm not good at that, right? So we're going to add some color to it. All right, so you still have so basically what's happened is the background of your pattern is, or the background of the the background of the pattern, yeah, is black glossy, and those raised areas are white. But remember, when you sanded off that black glossy, you expose the white cardstock behind it. And that white cardstock will absorb dye ink, right? So grab some dye ink and apply that on top. You could use Distress ink. You could use Gina K ink. You can use really any ink, any dye ink that you want from your whatever favorite company you want to use. I think I'm gonna do, I gotta think. I think I'm gonna do yellow to like a blue. And where it overlaps, it'll be green. Oop, wrong inkstand. So, first going with Sunbeam. This is Simon Says Stamp Pawsitively Saturated inks. I just like these. They're happy colors. There's a lot of great colors. I think they're great for inking. You're gonna see they're great for other techniques that I'm doing later. But you can use whatever inks you want, okay? I did do this one in pink. I'll show it to you when I'm done. But for this one, I'm gonna go with Sunbeam and Marine. So on the outside of, like these are little puffs of flowers. On the outside of those, I'm gonna do Sunbeam. So see how I'm adding yellow ink in? So I'm just kind of doing around the outside edge of these little clusters of flowers. So what's happening is the black, wherever there's black glossy, it kind of resists that ink because it's smooth, it's a slick surface. It'll just resist the ink I'm putting on top. You won't see it anyways because it's a black gloss, right? I will buff some of the extra ink off once I put this down. But wherever you see white, that is just like the core of my black glossy cardstock. And it is it's dyeing that white core. So we're gonna have yellow on the raised areas around the outside edge. You can see there's still white on the center. Yes, you could, if you wanted to, put this back in the embossing folder and run it through again to bring more zhuzh to it. It's up to you. I'm not going to do that for this, but you are totally welcome to do so. By the way, the ink blending tools I'm using right now are Simon Hurley. These are the smaller of the two sizes he has. You can use whatever brushes you want. I just really like these brushes a lot. So see, I'm putting blue at the center, and letting that also overlap some of the yellow. So we have like yellow green with blue at the center. All right. Mike, I'm going to get my arm in this ink. Hang on. I might need to clip my my sleeve. Oh, tropical, and man, we were in Europe. It was brutal. These nails are press-ons. They're stickers. I don't use glue. You just peel them off and stick them on. They're from Impress, and I have them linked in the, like, how you can save some money on them in the YouTube description below. I need a clip or something on my arm. Here, I'm going to put my scrunchie on my sleeves. Isn't it a good look? See? To keep them up. And it might cut off circulation, but I don't know if I have a choice. Okay, here we go. That's a good look. See? Can you see them? Oh, whatever. I am who I am. Okay, so now that I've put all that ink on, I'm just going to buff it, because anything that's on that black, I don't want to... Isn't that pretty? I think I want to go more blue at the center. I'm going to come in with some more blue. That was marine, which is like, okay, yeah, that's going to cut off my circulation. Okay, I'm going to come in with Cadet. Cadet's a little bit darker, and I'll do that just right at the center. So I'll switch to a smaller brush. Put that right, yeah, there we go. Just gives it a little oomph. Isn't that fun? Oh gosh. So, what folders can you do this technique with? Any that you want. And I'll probably demonstrate another one here in a second, just to show you. I probably won't add color to it, but see? Isn't that cool? You know what it looks like? Those people who do like the dot patterns on rocks, you know, those medallion looking things? Here's one that I did with yellow and then pink at the center. Now, to make this pop even more, there is one more thing I'm going to do to it. You do not have to do this, completely optional. But I have my white acrylic marker. This is from an Altenew marker set. They have, I think there's 2 different sets now, and both of them have 2 different sets of acrylic markers, and both of them have a white in it, and I keep them separate. You could also use a white gel pen here. But what I'm doing is at the center of each flower, I'm putting a little dot. What's wrong, Mike?
No, just that.
Are you talking to yourself?
Yeah.
Excellent. I'm putting a little white dot at the center of each flower because it just pops it even more. Let me do one puff, and then I'll show you. I like the acrylic marker because it doesn't run, you know, like stop coloring like the white does. Although I have a trick for that I'll share in another video for white gel pen, but not today. Okay. All right. So I'm putting just a little white dot at the center of the flowers just to make them stand out. So if you look here, this cluster has the white dots at the center of the flowers. This one doesn't. And you can see how it just stands out more with the white dots. Mike, everybody's asking how you're doing. Are you doing okay, Mike?
Yes, I'm fine.
Okay. Everybody's concerned about you. They think I like abuse you or something. I'm going with hair clip now. I have 2 hair clips. Oh, that's gonna be annoying. Hang on. Putting clips in my sleeves. You know, we're fancy around here. Okay, good enough. So this just is a way to make it stand out. You could put little gems in the pattern, whatever. But I would go and do them on all the dots. All right. Then this one I did the white at the center of each of the dots. Isn't that cool? And it's got that shine to it. I don't know. I keep my acrylic marker upside down standing up and it's fine. Yeah, no, I'm not going to change my shirt. My bedroom is as far from this point in the house as can be. All right. So What is your go-to in white ink pad? I'll talk about that when I get to the white ink pad stuff. Let me show you my idea for this card. Well, actually, let's first do this technique on another piece of another black glossy with another embossing folder, just so I can show you how, you know, another option. I'm just going through my folders, looking for ones that might be cool. And you don't have to add the ink color on top. You know, you could leave it without the ink color. Let's try, and this one's kind of cool. Let's do this one, Whirlpool Spinner. So I'm laying my cardstock on the side where the pattern is raised and running it through. You can see that's a cool folder. Ugh, I can't speak. While that runs through, I'm going to get a piece of holographic cardstock too. Let me see if I have some cut. I don't think I do. All right, so now I got this one here. Let's do some sanding. And you want to kind of go in both directions when you sand, so that you're kind of getting all the areas. And you can see how using this over like a giant sandpaper or block is beneficial, because you can kind of target areas more. So if you only wanted to sand maybe the center area or sand some parts more than others, you can. So again, this is Simon Says Stamp Black Glossy, and this is the Whirlpool Spinner. Oh, that's fun. Look at that. That's cool. Wow. Look at that. That's cool. Isn't that cool, Mike?
That's cool.
There you go. Say that's cool, Mike. Okay, I'm going to do yellow on the edge. Let's do that same thing again. Actually, let's go yellow at the center. There we go. Oh, that's fun. Embossing folders make me happy. By the way, if you like these kind of embossing folders, they're super thick that give you so much smooth dimension. Gina K has some that are similar, like the same thickness. Her 3D embossing folders. Those are the two that are really have this great dimension to them. There's some pink. So you can see where I overlap the yellow and the pink, I got the orange. Isn't that pretty? Now, let's get some marine. There we go. This is a little darker, but oh well. This marine color is beautiful. I used it a lot in that class that I did, that free class over at Simon. Oh, by the way, I did that free class for Simon, and this Friday, Gina's free class with Simon. Gina's having a free one, so don't be sure not to miss that too, because you know she's a rock star teacher, and you don't have to have the products, to be able to. You can use whatever you have. It's a free class. It's just kind of like a massive live. Question, are you using foam tip or brush? These are brush, but you could use foam brushes or foam applicator, whatever you prefer. So I'm doing kind of a rainbow. So I did blue after pink and now green at the end, and now we've got like a rainbow of color. Look at that. Oh, Mike.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's like a psychedelic.
Isn't that cool? I love that folder. That would be fun for a birthday card. And all you have to do is stick a sentiment in the center. Now let me see if I can find some holographic. Okay, this is Simon Says Stamp holographic cardstock. Okay. I'm gonna see, it may be too much. We'll see, okay? I'll use a different folder. But holographic cardstock is white with the coating on it. So we can do the sanding effect again. Let's do it with this one. Sparkling Facets. This is an older folder. Feeling for the side where the pattern is raised, and I put a heart there, laying it on that side where the pattern is raised. Let's run it through. So somebody asked earlier, what do you do if it curls, your embossing folder curls when it goes through? That means you're using too much pressure. So you got to change your sandwich. Look at this. Look at how it holographic picks up that texture. That's wild. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm just demoing this. What I'm going to do, I'm going to switch, just because this has black glossy on it, I want a fresh clean one. I don't know if I need to, but I've got it. I'm only going to do sanding on half of this. Maybe I won't. So I've sanded the raised area. It's hard to tell, but it's white in the raised areas now. Down there it's all shiny. The top it's all raised. So now let's do a color on top. Let's do pink. So I drag the ink pad over it, buff off the extra ink. And so what's happened is, I don't know if you can tell, but see how it's pink? The raised areas are pink and everything around it is that holographic. You can see it more in real life. Let me try a darker color. I'm gonna go over it with Royal, which is a dark blue, just so you can see it more. So I put, yeah, so you can see it more. See, the raised areas have color now, right? Oh, that's really cool. Okay, I wanna do the whole thing. Okay. Is this making sense? So any kind of cardstock that you have where there's a coating on one side, your gold matte, your silver, your mirror cardstock, your holographic, your glossy white, glossy black, any of them you can do this. My personal favorite is the black because you end up with the bold color and the bold color and the contrast with the black background. That is really cool. Look at that. Can you see that? See how it's, can you see it's blue? So what I would do to this, I want to do more backgrounds instead of completing cards, but I'll tell you what I would do. Your brain is struggling to comprehend how the color doesn't get wiped off. Okay, I will tell you. So what happens is, this is shiny, right? If I put ink on this, it just kind of rubs off. Like here, I'll show, it's black so it's hard to tell, but where did that holographic? If I put ink on this, because this is slick, this ink is just really gonna rub right off, okay? But that is just a coating. The other side, or what's behind that coating, is it's like regular cardstock, and we know regular cardstock will take dye ink in. It'll stay there, it dyes it, right? So if you remove that glossy and expose the regular cardstock behind it, then you can put the ink on that exposed cardstock. So wherever we sanded, it'll take the ink. All right? I do recommend watching that class because I explain it more there. I'm hoping that helps. Can you scroll it? It is fun to experiment. It is fun. Yeah, the dark does show more. Some things in videos don't show as well as in person, but that's really cool. That looks really cool. So the reason if I rub that dye ink over this whole thing, it just wipes off of the shiny part. But wherever we sanded the shiny part off, it's just white cardstock behind it. And that will take our ink, which we do every day in crafting. Yes, Mike is a sport for just, hey, He calls me and says he's buying another pinball machine. I'm a sport about it. So, would it work with glitter cardstock? Yes, it would. You'd have to do a lot of sanding to get the glitter off. And glitter cardstock is glitter so thick it doesn't really emboss super well, but some folders that don't have as much detail, it would work with. You can do this with any ink, really. I think a dye ink works best. So most of the companies' inks that you use are dye inks and they work great. Distress Ink, Gina K, Simon Says Stamp, Concord and Ninth, Pink Fresh, all of them. Yes, you can do this with any embossing folders. Any embossing folders, you can do this. The reason I like the Simon Says Stamp 3D embossing folders is because the amount of varying detail. If you look at this, I don't know if you can tell, these are angled edges. It's not just raised and flat, like a traditional 2D embossing folder. This has everything in between, which is what gives you extra zhuzh, okay? Mike, can you add a holographic cardstock to the supply list? Yeah. This is the Everlasting Flowers. So this one, I'm just going to do a little bit this so you can see. This one will be fun. I did a little sanding, wipe off all the sanded parts. Now what you can do, I used ink before, but what you can also do is come in with, you can come in with markers. Really, you can do any markers. I just grabbed my Olos.
Assorted?
Yeah, that would be fine. There's plain in it.
Yeah, it's out of stock.
Okay. You can add colors however you want. You know, you could, so you can do spot colors with markers. Let me get a bright color so it's easier to see. So you could do a whole colorful background. Let me just make that dry. Can you see it better? Those are juicy markers. So you can do spot color with markers too.
Is felt versus foam ink pad, does one work better or does it matter?
Felt versus foam doesn't matter here because I used a brush to apply it, so it really doesn't matter. There are some times, like if you do a embossing folder and you want to rub an ink pad over it and just have the ink pad hit the raised areas only, it might be better to use a firm felt pad, but not necessary. I used brushes today, so it didn't matter at all. All right, so just some different ways you can use it. But I'm telling you, I think that black glossy, boom, so cool. Now how I was going to finish this card is, here we go. This is the oval I did. I don't keep the packaging. These things, this is heavyweight, very heavyweight, right? I don't keep these. I label my folders right at the top corner, and I don't keep these. This would be trash. So instead of using it as trash, I like to use it to build layers on my card instead of using foam tape. So I'm going to do that real quick and I'll show you. So let me start putting something together here. I want to just show you why I cut the oval from the center and what my vision was if it works. So is that making sense about the glossy finish? We basically we're sanding off the glossy finish, which exposes just the white cardstock core of the card, or the paper. And that way you can add color over the areas you sanded, and that white exposed will absorb the color. I'm having trouble here. Ooh. Are there any questions while I handle this, Mike?
Does your black glossy cardstock crack? And if so, how do you prevent it from cracking?
Well, if there is detail in the white embossing or in the black glossy cardstock, it may crack. But it doesn't matter because I'm going to sand it. So the cracking won't be noticeable. Does that make sense? So it doesn't bother me. What is my white go-to ink? Honestly, any white pigment ink from any reputable company, they're all very similar. Simon Says Stamp, Gina K, Hero Arts, they're all very similar. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting from the packaging and using it to build up dimension. It's nice and thick. It's going to hold up better than using foam tape in the mail. I'm making this card a little bit bigger. My black panel was 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so I'm making a note card for it that's just a little bit bigger. And then I'll put it in an A6 envelope. I don't know why. That's just what I decided. Does Altenew ink ever go on sale? Yes. Not usually the whole line, but usually they have a weekly sale, and every week it seems there's like a few collections of color families on sale. So no one will ever know that this is packaging that we're cutting out. What was the spammer doing? Brienne did it?
Yes.
I hope it wasn't bad. I'm always afraid of that. Nothing we can do. Okay. So I'm just building up dimension. I think I'm going to do one more layer. I like dimension. Oops. What's wrong?
I got it.
Okay. Now for a sentiment, I really feel like you don't need to do much with these kind of cards, you know, because you have so much interest here. So I built up with the trash. And now see how it's popped up. There we go. It gives you just a cool kind of eclipse look, right? You could put a white oval around it, like a frame. Like I could have used like one larger of the chunky ovals and cut a white frame to put around it, but I didn't want to break up the pattern. I just wanted to make the center pop up. Now, and I would do the same thing for all of these. Maybe this one I would do a circle at the center. No, an oval would be cool too. All right, for a sentiment, I've got some oldies but goodies. I have some new too, but I think I'm gonna do this thank you. I have no idea what it's called. Let's see, I'm sure I've got it in here somewhere. This is Simon Says Stamp Thank You. Is that all it's called? Mike, do you know?
Oh,
it's on the supply list.
yeah, I know. I'm just gonna see it.
Hold on. I'm stacking 2 white.
Yeah, it's just the thank you, the CZ.
Oh, it's CZ Simon Says Stamp Thank You. There's the Missing You of the same style. I love this style. So I was excited to use it. So I'm gluing 2 white together. And then I will do black glossy on top. Yeah, if you don't have white and black glossy cardstock, you gotta, it's, you know, it's not a huge cost, right? And it's definitely fun to use. So this is the other way I use black glossy. I use it for the words, my die cut sentiments. It just gives a shine to your sentiment that makes it stand out more than just black cardstock. So I did white and the top layer is black glossy. And it'll stand out nicely that way. So when I mass produce sentiments with white and black, my cardstock is usually the black glossy. I have a lot of it. I bought quite a bit because I like to use it for techniques and for sentiments. All right, so there we go. Almost done. Now, I do have one thing that you could add some die cut flowers to this because this background pattern is kind of tiny print. Oops, I would probably just do this. Sorry, my head's in the way. Like that. But I still have to go through, remember I did white dots on some of the flowers? I need to go do it on all of them. And it'll take a few minutes, but it definitely will make the background really pop even more. You could add like a little flower die cut. You know what I probably would do is come in with some tiny white butterflies as embellishments. So let's see. Did I make my card upside down? I might have. Hold on. Let me find some butterflies. Where are my butterflies? Well, goobers. I could use these. I don't really want to. Mike, my butterflies flew away. Hang on. Now I've got it in my mind. I need my butterflies. Oh, I'll never find them. I'll go with these other ones. I don't know the name of these butterflies. I'm wondering if Link Ninja could find them. I think they might be a little too big, but I know they're Simon Says stamp, I think. We'll cut these from white. Get a scrap of white out. Okay, sorry. Ever past your big sentiments? Yes, you could put like this die cut, these die cuts, you could put on inside the embossing folder and put the floral texture on them. So yes, you could. I just recommend using, if you're going to use an embossing folder on a sentiment, you want to make sure that it's a fine, like a small detail pattern, not a big pattern. Does that make sense? I think I want to do drink. There we go. Okay, so I'll put this guy up here, that. And then this guy, I don't know what these butterfly dies are called. Put them right there. And then one right there. Oh, that's sweet. See? And there's little bodies. I can try to put them on. Are there questions, Mike, that I can answer?
How do you take care of the white edges that are on the edges of the oval, or is it supposed to be seen as white?
It's supposed to be seen as white. So yeah, I leave the white, it's supposed to be seen. It's kind of that eclipse look. But if you don't want it to be white, by all means, you can run a black marker along it. But that's, I wouldn't, I'd leave it. I think that's the point of it. You could even do colored cardstock if you wanted like yellow showing. Jennifer's overthinking.
Does this only work with 3D embossing folders?
No, every technique I show today can be done with any type of embossing folder. It can be done with these thick Big Mama embossing folders from Simon Says Stamp that are 25% off right now. It can be done with regular 3D embossing folders like Altenew and Spellbinders have and a few others. And it can be done with traditional 2D embossing folders, which are usually thinner and they have like a just like a raised pattern, a flat pattern, and nothing in between. So there we go. So I still have to put the white dots at the center of everything. Streamlabs, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. All right, what else we got, Mike? Yeah, the butterflies are great. I think that it does work. Here's the thing, the pattern is small, so I'm not really covering much of it up. But the white gel pen, that's what makes it pop. So I just need to go through and do those dots, but I'm not gonna do that right now. And I also have this one where I have done the dots. See how the white looks cool peeking around the edge? What is the grit number on those sanding circles? I have no idea. It doesn't say. It may on the website, but it doesn't say here. So this one you could do the same thing. You can put that a sentiment right at the center, a smaller one, something simple. Because you got so much interest on the background. That's a nice thing about these cards is you could go to town by adding a lot on them, but what you don't see in the video is the texture of it. Like it doesn't need more. You know what I mean? Like, so you can be pretty quick. If that makes sense. Okay, go back. All right. Yeah, they are fun. So a lot there. This can be done with silver and gold also, but I'm going to show some silver and gold stuff here in a moment. All right, let me put some things away. Yikes. What time is it? Oh my goodness, the first one I've been blabbing for an hour. Michael, I have a lot more ready. I'm not going to be able to do them all. Go figure. Okay, let's do some with the silver and gold. And then I'm going to do my favorite. Then I'll do some white glossy, okay? But let's go to silver and gold. I'm going to do a variation though. We did silver and gold in that free class on the Simon Says Stamp channel, where I did something like this, where it's silver and then we sanded and put color on the areas where we sanded, all right? So it's similar to the holographic one we just did, all right? I'm going to change it up a little bit here, okay? I don't know. We'll see. Let's try. I think this might be one of those lives where I don't make cards, I just make a ton of background. Okay, this is a new folder called Bedazzled, and I love it. Yeah, I appreciate that you guys can stay and watch, but I have to eat at some point. Maybe not. Okay, the last embossing folder, the Flower Puff. The Flower Puff. If you want to see images like thumbnails of the products I use, you just go to the link that's at the top of my YouTube description. It has the word live in it. If you go there, it will open up to a new page and you scroll down and at the bottom there are thumbnails of thumbnail pictures of all the products I talk about, and it makes it so much easier to find what you're looking for. Okay, so this is going to be a little variation. How's that? Yes, I do need to eat. Okay, so this is the Bedazzled folder. On the side where the pattern is raised, I'm putting gold matte cardstock. This is from Simon Says Stamp, but any gold matte cardstock will work. Oops. Okay, don't make noises. Just wait. Okay. First of all, let me just talk about how beautiful that is. Just gorgeous. So the gold matte cardstock, the back side is just white cardstock. The core of it is white cardstock, so I know I can sand it and reveal the white. So look how pretty it is just with white. But anyways, I love this, but let me show you a few things you can do, okay? No, I'm not going to show that process again. What you could do is sand the raised areas and white would be exposed, right? And then you could put ink over it, just like we did on all the other examples. But I'm going to do something different on this one, okay? We're going to do something different here. I like gold, and I want to give it like a kind of a vintagey feel. So what I'm going to do is use Versamark ink. Any clear embossing ink would work. I really like the Gina K clear embossing ink, but mine needs re-inking. So I'm just got my Versamark here, and I have a Tim Holtz Brayer. What I'm doing is putting the clear embossing ink over the raised area, or the raised surface. You could go direct to ink pad, or direct to paper. You could just take the ink pad and go across. But this is a foam pad, so it's kind of harder to just go lightly over the raised surface. So that's why I'm using a brayer. Tim Holtz brayers are my favorite. Personally, I like the bigger of the two sizes. I have them linked below. But what I'm doing is putting clear embossing ink on the raised. Now, this is Verdigris, I think that's how you say it, Verdigris, from Ranger. It's an old embossing powder I've had for, goodness, a billion years. And I'm putting that on top. It's one of my favorite embossing powders. It gives that kind of patina look. And I'm putting that on the raised areas. Now, while I do that, I'm also going to do a scrap so you can see what it looks like, because it's only in little areas here. I'm going to put some of the powder on here so you see what it looks like when there's more, like a bigger area. I'm going to put this aside and forget to put it away, and I'll have powder all over the place. But let me first heat set this so you can see this beautiful. Hi, Richard. Yes, these sanding blocks, absolutely. Absolutely perfect for this. Yes, yes, yes. Go for it. I wanted to show both. I think these are out of stock anyways, but either would work. So this is the Verdigris embossing powder from Ranger. Gives you like that kind of patina look with, hold on, with gold in it, see? It just looks vintagey. I love it. So that's what I put on the raised areas of this. So let me heat set this. You know why I like the Tim Holtz sprayers? They pick up and transfer ink really well. The surface is really nice on them, and you can also take the roller part off so you can wash it easily. So all I'm doing is heat setting that powder. So all we did, Laura Basson, detention is life, no, it's dimension, but I think that was a typo. That's kind of funny though. So I put some of that beautiful kind of vintagey embossing powder only on the raised areas. So it's going to be subtle, but it'll be beautiful. Let me show you. I don't want to touch it while it's hot. Do you see it? Oh man, it doesn't show up great. It's beautiful. So you could put silver embossing powder on gold. You could put red embossing powder on gold. That would be cool for like holiday. Isn't that beautiful? Now, I realize the amount of area that's raised where I put the ink is minimal on this fine print. So let's do it again on something that has more raised areas. Let me look. Maybe this one's the answer. Let's try it on this. I don't know if it'll work great, but we're going to try it. This is Flower Medley. It actually comes with dies that you can die cut your cardstock and then put the die cuts in, lining them up with the pattern, and you end up with a die cut with beautiful texture. I'm not doing that today. Instead, let's try doing this technique on silver matte. Okay, so this is the raised area. I'm laying it onto the raised area, running it through. Last time I did silver, last time I did gold, this time I'm doing silver, but I'm going to use the same powder. I think it would be better on gold, but whatever. Whatever. Yeah, vibrant blue would be pretty too. I agree. But look at this. Oh my gosh, look how pretty that is. That's Simon Says Stamp matte silver cardstock and the Flower Medley embossing folder. So now let's do this over the raised. I'm going a little bit firmer. This is not going to, remember, this is important. This is a 3D embossing folder. That means these flowers aren't all raised the same amount. It means some parts of the flower are raised more. So this embossing ink is only going to only hit some parts of the flower. Okay? So you're not going to end up with flowers that are completely covered with embossing ink. Just some. Hold on. I don't know that this was the best folder to demonstrate this, but we will see. Let me get that same powder, because I love this powder, and I haven't used it in a long time. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Oh, Mike. This is what I needed to do to be happy. Okay. I think I would like it better on gold cardstock, this particular powder.
What powder was it?
It's that Verdigris from Ranger. It's in the supply list. I got some of the powder in the background. You can take it away before you heat set with a brush, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. Let me just get some of the bigger areas off.
Would a foam brayer work better?
No, I like this brayer. I think a firm brayer is better because you don't want it to have a give to it that gets too far in the nooks and crannies. You only want it to really hit the raised areas. Oh my gosh, y'all. I want to do this again in gold. It'd be so much cooler in gold. I'll finish heat setting this, but I'm doing it on gold. I have to. There might have to be a part 2 video because I have some other techniques that are so awesome. Who's upstairs, Mike? Huh? Somebody's in the kitchen. Ken's at a doctor's appointment. It wouldn't be him. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh, copper. Copper. Copper would be pretty. Okay, hold on. I don't want to mess up the powder. Look at that. Can you see it? Oh, it doesn't pick up in the video very well. Oh, y'all, it's so pretty in real life. Dang it. I wish you could see it. Let me try the gold and see if it shows up a little better. I can't help it. And look at all these backgrounds I'll have ready to make cards. And all of these, you know what's really nice on these is if you just take like flower die cuts and cut them from white cardstock and arrange them and put a bold sentiment, like not introduce another color. Okay, let's try it again, Cammie. We're trying it again.
I was upset. I'm on delay. I came to tell you to do it on copper, and I heard you saying somebody else.
Oh, Cammie said I should do copper. Yeah, I should. I should. I could do that next. Cammie ran in to tell me to do copper too, but she said she's on a time delay and heard somebody else said it also. Okay, so this is gold. I wish you could see how beautiful this embossing powder is. Another cool thing you could do here is, say you have like blue cardstock. Do Versamark ink or any clear embossing ink over the raised areas, then do clear glitter powder. Look at that. Okay. This reminds me of all the stuff we would see in Italy. It's just crazy. Okay, let's do it. Look at that. Will this technique work on heat-resistant acetate? Yes, it would, but please keep in mind that you need to test your acetate with your embossing folders. Some embossing folders work with acetate better than others. And that I should probably do like a whole video on that, but maybe I'll do it in the next time oh, this is so pretty. Hang on, it's almost done. I'm gonna get high off this embossing powder. Okay. I wish you could see it. Y'all, it's so pretty. got this like vintagey feel to it. Isn't that neat? I personally like it on this, but you don't see it as much in the video. In real life, it's really cool on here. All right, people want to see it on copper, but I'm going to change the folder. I want to do a different folder. Let's get some copper out. This is, I'm going to do, wait a second. I'll do, just a second. I'm trying to find it. This is brushed rose, or no, this is copper. I think I'm going to do brushed rose though. No, I'll do copper. This is Altenew brushed copper. It's just what I have here. Let's do it with this. Christmas Angels. This is gonna be cool. No, not, I don't want this copper. I want, let me just show you the difference. So this is brushed rose. This is copper, and this is brushed rose. Which should I do, Cami?
I think the brushed rose will be.
Okay, we're gonna do the brushed rose because Cami said so. It's just like a light copper, but you could totally do copper. This is really pretty. Champagne color, it would be gorgeous too. Concord and Ninth has champagne. Do I have any pre-cut? I used to. I think I used it all. Oh man. You know there's red glossy cardstock too that you could do all these techniques with. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some more champagne. But anyways, okay, this is Christmas Angels embossing folder from Simon Says Stamps. So all of these are 25% off. What? What?
So you drank all the champagne.
Yeah, right. I drank all the champagne. I do have some. I'm sure I do because I would never run out of that. Oh, here it is, right here in the front. This is what we needed. This is what would look best. That is Concord and Ninth champagne. This is, it's less rose. But anyways, these all would work with the technique because see how it's white on the backside? That means you could sand this and add dye ink to the raised sanded areas. But we're not doing that. Instead, we're gonna do the same thing we've been doing. Look how pretty this pattern is. Isn't that gorgeous?
Like copper ceiling tiles.
Yeah, it does. And you could even put, instead of the green powder I'm using here, you could do gold on here. So it's copper with gold powder. Gold embossing powder. Or even white, or I still think gold and red would be pretty. Or you could do clear embossing powder with glitter. Now remember, see, notice how, for example, her dress is raised, but the dots on her dress are raised even more. So that's what you get with 3D embossing folders. It's not just one, like raised one amount. It's different levels. I don't know how to describe it. Different levels of dimension. Okay. This is gonna be pretty. I have a mess here. Just ignore my methods. Okay. Oh, that's gonna be pretty. Look at that. So it's just on the raised areas. Ooh. And I did it kind of fast, and it still is working. Mike, are there more questions? Oh, that's so pretty.
What is the sandwich that you used for these folders?
Hold on, I can't even hear him asking.
The sandwich.
The sandwich I use for the Empress is one clear plate, the embossing folder, and then the metal shim. I showed it at the beginning of the video, and over on Simon Says Stamps website, they have a guide of what sandwich to use with their 3D embossing folders with whatever machine you may have. I don't know them all, but I know you can use them with any machine. Okay, let's let that cool for a second before I try to touch it. What?
That one's perfection.
Perfection? Cami said it's perfection. Okay, let's see. Look at that. I wish it just doesn't pick up in the video. But it's beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, they'll just have to take my word for it.
Cami said you're gonna have to take her word for it. Isn't that cool? Do Boston cutters ever go bad? Oh, do embossing powders ever go bad? Supposedly they can, but I've never encountered it. That's still my favorite. It's just hard to see in the video. So you can see, for me, I don't know, different types of folders, like whether there's big gaps or tiny patterns, some techniques work better than others. By the way, I took silver, metallic cardstock, I sanded the raised area, and I put red ink over it. And so you can see how you can pick up color. Up here I did gold ink over it. It was subtle. It was just me practicing some ideas. So you can use your embossing powders with your embossing folders. All right. This one's my favorite. Anyway, okay. Next, white glossy. Now, I'm not going to go to town with white glossy cardstock. I might, but I'm not going to, because I did that whole class, that free class over on Simon Says Stamps YouTube channel. And it's linked below in the YouTube description, where I did a ton of techniques with embossing folders and white glossy cardstock. Okay, I mean, we did all kinds of really cool stuff. I'm going to do something a little different here. It's a variation of what I did in that class. Okay, let me get a folder. I think I'm going to use, I think this one's really fun. Boho Flowers. That's what I'm going to use. This is white glossy cardstock. One side is shiny, so there's a coating on it. The other side is matte. It looks like regular cardstock. So that means that there's a coating on it, and when you do the embossing folder and sand, you can remove that coating, which exposes just the regular white cardstock underneath, which will absorb the ink differently. Okay, so just bear with me. Find the side that has the raised pattern. Lay glossy side up onto that side. Here's the sandwich, clear plate, folder, metal shim. Which glossy cardstock would here you're going to see me use white glossy. You saw me use a bunch of black glossy. And you'll get an idea maybe which is better for you. Okay, so see, this is white glossy with an embossing folder. It looks like porcelain. It's just beautiful. See it? It looks like porcelain. I just love it, the detail. And you can see how much raised detail there is. Isn't that gorgeous? And the white shine really is so much better than just cardstock. So even this, like, would be a fun alternative than just doing a white cardstock with the embossing on it. Does that make sense? Okay, so let me do this again, but I'm first going to put some ink on the background. Pick a color, Cami.
Green.
Green. Oh, you were going to say green? I need two colors that would go together. Green and what?
Blue.
Green and blue. Okay. Let's go with a dark green. I'm going to pick this one. It's kind of a bluish green, but it will work. Okay. Let's do it. Okay. So I'm going, oh, it doesn't come out green. It's like a teal color. I will redo. I will redo. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I can show more than one example. What I'm doing here is going direct to paper with dye ink onto glossy. She wanted green, I'm gonna get green.
Oh.
Hi, how are you? Were you upstairs cooking? I'm switching colors. How about, this is Raindrop. It's blue again. It's more blue than you want. I'll get green on the next one, Cammie. Sorry. So I'm going direct to paper with dye ink. Any dye inks would work. You could use Distress ink. You could use any of your favorite dye inks. And what I'm doing is I'm coloring that white glossy. So instead of white glossy, it'll be blue glossy, okay? So I'm gonna put a little more on this side. And you see a lot of it comes off, but that's okay. You can use a paper towel. I just use cloths and I throw them in my washing machine when I'm done with them. You can, if you want to keep it darker, you could heat set it and then you could heat set it and then buff it and more of the color will stay down. But look it looks like kind of a color porcelain. Do you see the kind of, it's got this look of texture. Do you see it? I don't know if you can tell. It's so cool. It's not just shiny color. It's got this look of texture, but it's as smooth as can be. Yes, you could use the Lisa Horton color shifting. That would be pretty. But any dye ink on white glossy will give you that, okay? Now I'm going to take that and put that inside the same folder. This is the Boho Flowers. Oh dear. Huh? Who do you want to come over? Can you see if Dad can give you a ride? Is he? Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I did the embossing folder. Okay, so now it looks like color porcelain. It looks like the side of a vase. But, oh, okay, I'll be done before that. Hang on, I'm gonna run it through again. But I feel like this needs a deeper impression on some of these areas. Like this is, okay, I was talking about how an 3D embossing folder this thick will give you some areas that are very raised, some that are just a little raised. And like this flower here is just a little raised. I think it's probably, no, it's good. No, I'm gonna run it through one more time. And I'm gonna put a cardstock shim in there. So I just put an extra piece of cardstock behind it. You can try with photo paper. Somebody asked if you could do this with photo paper. By all means, try. They're all photo papers are different. I don't know. It may work, it may not. You just gotta give it a try. Okay, so there. See the texture? Now, we're gonna sand. This time I'll use the paper sanding block. And see how I'm sanding away the glossy coating. And this was white glossy paper. I colored the glossy coating blue. So basically we're sanding away that blue gloss. And we're exposing the white core of the cardstock. Yeah, that's the thing. All embossing folders are different. Some I find like I want to put an extra shim in there. Some I don't. I always start with less, and you can always add more of a shim if you want. Oh, this is so pretty. Oh my goodness. Come on, Cammie. If this doesn't make you want to make cards, I don't know what will. I know.
I have a job.
She says she doesn't have time to make a cards because she has a job. Okay, look at this. Oh, I don't want to change it. I want to leave it. That's my favorite. How hard are you rubbing? It depends on the folder. If you have a folder with a lot of flat background, you don't want to rub too hard with the sander because you'll sand the background and it makes it look yucky. But this, I was sanding it pretty firmly, but really just start with the light hand and you can build up the pressure. Okay, and if there's like some flowers like these, there's less dimension to them. So I just kind of get in with the corner of the sanding block to get that. Okay, isn't that beautiful? Okay, but we can change it too. And this, you may think this is ruining it, but it's pretty, isn't it? Isn't it pretty? You could leave it. or you could possibly ruin it. I'm coming in with the green now, Cami. You did say green and blue, so it will be green and blue in the end. Okay, so Brayer. I'm just wiping off the embossing ink from before-ish. Limelicious ink, one of the best greens. It's just a happy green. Rolling the green ink over those areas where we just sanded. So where we sanded off that blue glossy, we exposed that white cardstock behind it, which will absorb that green ink and put green in the raised areas. Now I left half white and then half has the green, so you can see the difference. So you can add, I know, don't do it, no, everybody freaks, but see, you can do both. Both are good things. So this one shows you how I sanded off the blue gloss, which exposed this white regular cardstock. And on this half, wherever that exposed white cardstock was, I put green ink. All right? So you could do this that I just did on black glossy, which we did at the beginning. You could do this on gold matte cardstock, silver matte cardstock. But this is cool because I started with white glossy and added the blue ink on top, you get that porcelain texture. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, I did it on another one, didn't I? No, I didn't. Can you see in the background there? It looks like there's like this porcelain finish to it. It's smooth as can be, but you see can you tell me if you can see it? There's like the finish of the paper just looks like porcelain. It's just beautiful. So here's another one I did off screen. This one I didn't do as much sanding. I did lighter, so it's more subtle. I don't think it looks as good, but to show you, you can have two contrasting colors. This is Floating Flowers. I started with blue ink on my white glossy. I sanded it. On the raised areas, I put Cheeky. It's a peach color over it. But here, you know what? Let me do this again. So you can see that. Remember, that color on the blue glossy cardstock, it looks, hold on, it's focusing. Come on, baby. See it? Isn't that pretty? It's slick as can be, but look at it. It's got that cool look to it. You don't get that on regular cardstock. So this just looks porcelain. All right? Okay, so white glossy is quite impressive too. So you can mix different colors. Any dye inks would work for this. Your distress inks would work really well for it too. There we go. Yeah, I am throwing a lot of ideas at you here. But the good news is YouTube will last forever and you can always come back and look. Somebody asked about why I like the Tim Holtz. You can take this off and run this in the sink. That's one of the reasons. It doesn't need it. I just go like this, but you can if you need to. All right. That's the word. It's speckled. It is speckled. That's the look. It gives you like a speckled look. I have too many I want to do. Dang it. Let's try stepping that technique up. I don't know if it'll work. We're in new territory here. Okay. And remember, all these embossing folders are 25% off right now, which is fantastic. And I have a category right at the top of my supply list, or it's under special offers, to all of the 3D embossing folders at Simon that are on sale, not just the ones I'm using today. All right, let's use this one. This one is called Crisscross Floral. Very simple pattern. Let's go with this. I'm going to start with white glossy again. No idea what I'm about to do. Let me think. I really like that rainforest. I'm going to do rainforest again. It's right in front of me. Does the previous color on the sanding block come off on your next card? I don't know. Sometimes it might, that's why, I mean, there's 4 sides to the block. You can sand off on regular paper to clean, like on white cardstock, to kind of rub some of it away. But that's one of the reasons I like the Tim Holtz sanding discs, because you can just throw those little, you just use a little bit, you know what I mean? Okay, so this is just Raindrop dye ink from Simon Says Stamp. Any dye ink would work, and you get that speckled kind of porcelain finish to it, okay? Now I'm gonna take that and put it in the embossing folder on the side where the pattern is raised, as we do every time. See, somebody's in the kitchen. Huh? With Dinah? What? Sorry, I can't hear when this is going. What? Oh. Oh, I like your shirt. I didn't see you that one. Okay. This might not be enough texture for this technique. Okay, so see the pattern? Let's try it. All right, here we go. Yeah. I'm gonna sand away. So we had that blue glossy finish, because I started with white glossy cardstock, added blue to it. Now I'm sanding away that glossy finish and exposing the regular white cardstock behind it. And as we know, regular white cardstock will take color nicely. All right, so there we go. Oh, that's cute. Okay. See? So there's some white there. Sand some more.
Wet cloth just recorded.
Oh, it's not a wet cloth, it's dry. I think I just... Oh, that is so cute. It's a dirty cloth is my problem. I need to get a new one. Okay, so see? White exposed. So on that white, we can apply some color. Let's do green. Again, same green, Limalicious. So this will go on the raised areas, which is that green, or that where we sanded off. Some of it will hit the background because there's those gaps in the pattern, but that's okay. You see how it's turning green? The reason I'm buffing it is some of the green is getting on the glossy part, and I don't want it to dry there. I really only want the green on the raised areas where it absorbs into that. So see, now I have a green pattern on blue. All right, now I'm gonna take this and put this back in, but I'm gonna offset it. Ooh, okay. So let's offset it. I'm gonna put it in and I'll show you. Let's hope it works. Or if it doesn't, you know, it's close enough to Beer 030 that I can drink it away. Okay, I don't think we have any beer. Okay, here we go. Oh, I moved it. Not dipped in the color. What? Let me put this back in. Sorry, I'm just trying to offset it. I'll offset it this way. You'll see. It doesn't have to be perfect, but that's the way I am. Okay, so see, can you see the green in there? It's offset. So I just shifted, like this little X shape, I shifted it from up here to down here. Okay? And we'll run it through again. Now, this is double embossing. It will not work with every folder. Like if I tried to do this pattern, this floral one, and then offset it, it would get messy. You want like a repeated geometric kind of pattern. All right, so it's not showing much yet, but we're gonna sand it. Now the first embossing we did, where we added the green ink, that's gonna be flatter now, right? Because we just used an embossing folder on it, which flattened that. But now we have this new area where we can sand. And so now we have the pattern in white and green. Oh, it worked. See it? So the green was what we did the first time. This is what I just did, where I'm exposing it. I think I'm going to leave it white. I could do another color, but I think I'm going to leave it white. Yes, these rags I just throw in my wash. Never have had any problems. I even throw them in with my clothing. I don't do special, you could do a special load, but I don't. Lord knows I do enough laundry. Okay, there we go. Look at that. Boom! So see how there's green? I could have picked a color with more contrast, but it's okay. And then the white. Isn't that cool? All I did was shift it. And that is the Crisscross Floral embossing folder. Let me see if I can find another folder that would like also work for that technique. You could probably do it with this one. It's like a diamond dot pattern. You could shift it. That is the Crisscross Floral that I just did. Crisscross Floral. Isn't that fun? Oh, okay, so the reason when we sanded off the second time, the green didn't sand off because when I put this in the folder offset, we kind of flattened the area that was green. It got smushed. So it wasn't raised as enough anymore for the sanding block to reach it. If you want to put texture back in, just run it through. But I mean, there is texture still. It's just really cool. All right, so this was the white glossy. So at the beginning I showed you black glossy and how bold of a look you can get. I do have some more ideas, but they're all using distress inks and water. So I think I'm gonna save that for another live because you know, as you all know, there are so many amazing things that you can do with distress inks. I think it needs to have its own live. Mike, are there questions? I'm just dotting these, I don't know why. So this sentiment and butterflies, I could do on all of them. Do the same thing, or just change up the sentiment. Oh, the white helps, okay. And on this one, I could go in and put like a silver dot on it, you know, in the center of the little X's. I think this might be my favorite. All right. Does the Tim Holtz Bear have a texture? Or is it's rubbery and smooth? Hard, rubbery and smooth. You can read the description on the website. It might say more. Photo paper, again, it really depends. I mean, you could definitely take photo paper and use an embossing folder on it. Whether or not it will take ink in the same way, I don't know. And whether or not when you sand it, it'll expose regular cardstock, I doubt it, but you can try. I don't know the grit number. Yes, you can always try going direct to paper with ink pads. I just use a brayer because it is a great way to try to avoid hitting the deeper areas and just keeping the ink on the raised areas. Personally, that's just what I like to do. Yeah, so I have some other techniques. I think, yeah, the others don't involve glossy, so I think I'll save those for another live. What time is it anyways?
5:40.
Okay, I'm gonna do one more thing I'll make it glossy. What the heck? What the heck? Let's see. Okay, we'll do one glossy of this and one not glossy. This is the new oak leaf stencils, and then there are dies. I'm making a mess. Okay. Whoa, whoa. We'll do two. Because you can use glossy for ink blending. Just remember, you either got to heat set it or buff off the extra ink. So let's see here. Bye, Cammie. Thank you. Okay. So this is the oak leaf. And by the way, I don't know if this is going to work. No idea. We'll see. All right, let's do, I'm going to make it a bright oak leaf because I want to. Because it's my pretend world and I can do anything I want, right? So I'm putting down limeade. Keep in mind, this is glossy cardstock, and that glossy surface doesn't really want to absorb the ink much. So it's going to be super light in comparison to on regular cardstock, which I'll show you right now. So that's glossy. And if I touch that right now, it might smear, so I just try not to touch it. I mean, it shouldn't smear much, but now this is oop, come on. I need my stronger magnet. Where is it? There it is. So this is regular cardstock. This needs to be re-inked. I guess it's showing up similar in color. I think because I'm moving, like as I blend on there, it's moving the ink around, so it's not like sitting heavier in some areas than others. Anyways, so this is Limelicious, which is a lighter color. Okay, so there's glossy and regular cardstock. Then the next one, is this number 2? Does it even matter? I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? All right, put on the next leaf. Go a little darker. What questions are there, Mike? Perfection. And there away. I got most of them. This is Perfection, which is a little bit darker. Again, this one on the left is glossy. The one on the right is regular cardstock. I'm going to try something. I don't know if it'll look good or not. And I'm not doing a great job stenciling. Sorry. I'm just trying to get it done quick because I'm hungry. Would you know of a plaid embossing folder that would work well for offsetting? You know, there's like grid embossing folders that would be cool for that. I know Gina K has it's like a grid or a lattice that would work great for it. So, okay, here's a good example. Perfection, so much lighter on the glossy than it is on regular. That's just something to keep in mind. You saw how dark like that rainforest went on the glossy, but then when you wipe off the extra, it becomes much lighter because the glossy doesn't really want to absorb all of the ink. It just absorbs a little, and that will be wet for a bit. All right, so now let's do this one. This one I will do Fairway, which is from a different family, but different green family, but I don't care. Is Christina visiting? Is that why my hair is curled? No, Lila's been curling my hair lately. She likes to curl it or crimp it. And let's be clear, I love when she does it because I love when people play with my hair. So I just let her. Oh, that's kind of fun. I'll show it up close here in a minute. So no, Lila did my hair. I haven't seen Christina. Christina couldn't go on the cruise with us because there were weddings in her family. It's really weird traveling without her. And then she is going on a trip soon. So I'm not really sure when I'm going to see her. I mean, we're going to go to Disney in November, but we will not go that long without seeing each other. We must annoy each other in person before that. Okay, let's see. I'm going to do a sagey color. I have no idea. I didn't do any planning here. You hate when people play with your hair? Oh my gosh. Not me. It's my favorite thing in the world. apparently there are places you can go and they like give you head massages and it's like an experience. And maybe I need to do that. Now this, I could have left this and it would just be that green showing through, but I'm inking it. All right, so there we have some leaves. So glossy, not glossy. You can see there's quite a bit of difference because the glossy doesn't really want to take the color, but I'm trying. We may crash and burn on this last one. That's okay. Okay, now this has a die that we can cut this out. And I had it right here. So I'm gonna cut them out. First time going to Disney. I love it. I know not everybody understands it, but I love it. It's like a whole escape for me. I feel like my anxiety for some reason goes away at Disney, and I think it might have something to do with the fact that people are walking around with like just happy as can be, right? They just don't care. You know, don't care about what people are wearing. I mean, people are walking around with rodent ears on. So I think it's just nice that you can go do your thing, have a good time. And I just laugh on rides. It's not really about the characters for me at all. It's the rides. I giggle on rides and it's just nice. Aw, have fun with their grandson. Okay, so this is the cardstock version. Yes, there will be a holiday online card classes this year. I'm not sure when it'll be announced, but Christina has designed the products already. Okay, glossy and non-glossy. So glossy, if you wanted it to be darker, you just have to start with much darker inks. All right, now this is where it could crash and burn. We will see. I thought it'd be fun to use a texture on this. I have done many times where I will like stencil a background, like a floral background or something, and then use like a Swiss dot embossing folder or a fine textured embossing folder. If you're going to use an embossing folder on top of like stenciling, you definitely want to use a fine print, a fine embossing, like a tiny print, something repeated. This is Woven Rings from Simon Says Stamp, a new one, and I thought I would give it a try. So first, let's put in, this is the plain cardstock. Does Kings Island, which is an amusement park near me, does that count? No, because I don't go to Kings Island much anymore because the rides are all old and rough, and I'm old. So in Disney, it's also the experience. Okay, what?
Old and rough.
Old and rough. There we go. Yeah. So look how cool that is. Just putting texture over that leaf, just for fun. And if I wanted to, this is regular white cardstock. Okay, regular white cardstock. You can still sand the raised area. So what you're doing is sanding away. I'm not going to sand away much of it, just a little bit. You can sand away some of the ink on that cardstock. I'm just going to sand a little bit here and there, just to give that texture. So there you go. So that's regular cardstock. And it just gives a fun texture to that leaf. Kind of give the leaf a little bit of a fold and glue it down with foam tape so it's got a little dimension to it. Fits nicely on a card too. So I would just put it like this. I put like a bow around here and a sentiment right across it. I go to Disney World in Florida. All right, so let's do this. This is the glossy version. Okay. So this is the glossy version. Look how cool that is. But I can also do the sanding. Where'd it go? Okay. So this time I'm going to sand off a good amount from the white. You're not going to see much of the different colors of grain I used in the background, but that's okay. You will have that leaf shape. And now, since I'm sanding off the glossy, I sanded off my stem, but that's okay. I can glue that back on. Now that I've sanded off the glossy surface, I can brayer over this with a darker color. This is sage, and the raised areas will pick up that color. Look at that. So this could be any kind of stenciled background, but see how you can play around with adding texture to anything. In fact, I like this folder. Squirrel. Let me just do this real quick. I need to do this real quick. I need to do this. I want to see what it looks like with black glossy. I think this will look really pretty. Okay, somebody asked if you, like, which side you put your cardstock in. If you want to use an embossing folder, how it's intended, where it makes the pattern raised, makes it embossed, you want to put it on the side of the folder that when you run your fingers over it, the pattern's raised. If the pattern is raised here, when I put cardstock on it, the pattern will be raised on my cardstock. Now on this side, where the background is raised and the pattern is like indented, or the valley, if you put your cardstock on that, you'll get a debossed look because the pattern will go down. All right. So I did black glossy. Oh yeah. Always make sure you kind of go in every direction when you do your sanding, so you hit all the like sides of the pattern, you know, equally. Oops, I got a little too rough with it, but that's okay. Oh, that's cool. So now I can do whatever colors I want on here. So I could just, to show you can go direct to paper. There's some pink. Let's do some yellow. Overlap it a little bit with the pink. Put some more pink down, I didn't put enough. There we go. Now some green. Oh, that's pretty. I still like the flower puffs from before most, but this is gonna be pretty too. Oh, look at that blue. Okay. So see how quick you get a cool background like that. Isn't that neat? This is the Woven Rings. It's just a nice basic texture. See? I can do it on regular cardstock too. Okay, let me just do it on regular cardstock so you can see. And then, oh, by the way, I have a giveaway. I have 2 embossing folders to give away to a lucky winner. I'll show you the folders in a moment. I like this a lot. For your chance, all you have to do is leave a comment in the chat. If you've been commenting, you're already eligible, and Mike will pick somebody in a moment. Okay, look at it. See the detail of it? It's just pretty. That's just regular white cardstock. So even with this, you could just brayer on top of it, or you know, go direct to paper. I'm gonna brayer. Let's brayer some sage on top of it. And the raised areas will pick up that color. So you can just change the look of your, just by adding color directly. So this is regular cardstock. See how so the circle-y shape right here, where the green hit, must be more raised than the pattern that's kind of inside of those circles, because the brayer didn't reach it. That's really cool. That's cool. So anyways, so many things that you can do. Yeah, there's a lot of detail in them. Okay, so that is, there are some ideas for embossing folders. That double one where this one, that was really fun. And then I just can't get enough of the black glossy. I still got to put all my little dots on it. Okay, the giveaway. Let me get the folders, Mike. These are the 2 embossing folders that were part of the class I taught on Simon Says Stamp. It was a bundle you could buy, but the individual products are still available. It's the Tiny Flora, which is one of my favorite all-time embossing folders, and Dancing Starlets. You can still buy these, and these are 25% off right now. But the lucky winner will get both of these, and they would work great for these techniques. Here's some cards from the class that I did with those folders. This was using regular cardstock, this was using glossy. So there's quite a few techniques in that class that you could check out using these 2 folders, in fact. Okay, so Mike, did you pick somebody?
Yes, I did.
Who'd you pick?
I picked Patty Pang.
Patty?
P-A-N-G.
Patty Pang. Patty, you are the winner. All you need to do is go to my website and send us your information in an email, and we will get those sent to you. And Mike always includes a handmade card because he always say to me, I need some handmade cards. So
I pinned the message so you can see your name, name.
He pinned the winner's name, so you can check that. All right, why am I cleaning? Who wants to clean? Okay, see my clips?
They work.
I kept having to adjust them. It was driving me crazy. This shirt is going to be retired. It doesn't work for lives, and it's the only time I dress up. Anyway, okay, I think that's it. So, again, there is 25% off all of the Simon Says Stamp brand 3D embossing folders. And there are so many. You can look at, there's holiday ones that are fantastic. They have balloons and butterflies and so many things. And they also have a lot of the folders where there's dies with them, where you can die cut a shape and then put it into the pattern, like die cut a butterfly, put it into the embossing folder and you get a textured die cut. They got a lot of those too. If you look at the bottom of my YouTube description, I have a link to the class I keep talking about, but I also have a link to a few other videos I have done with lots of techniques using these type of embossing folders. Keep in mind, everything I did today you could do with other types of embossing folders. It's just that the Simon Says Stamp ones really have a lot more detail. And anybody who's ever tried them before would agree with me. All right? Is that it? Are you going to be ready this time to turn it off?
Oh, I'm ready.
I don't believe you. Okay. Good. I'm glad you got some. Honestly, I've done so many videos. Oh, I also linked at the bottom of my supply list, my playlist to embossing folder techniques. Any of those embossing folder techniques that I've done in many of my videos would work with these folders. So there are so many ways you can use them. Don't think that just because you get an embossing folder with a pattern that you use on a cardstock and it's always going to look the same. There's so many ways you can change things up to give it more interest. So anyway, okay. I hope you like that. I usually try to have cards prepped and all that, but sometimes I think the playing is fun so you can see how I try to figure out what works and what doesn't work, because I know this is my job, so I have more time to play like that, and I think it's good to be able to kind of experience that together. I do have something coming up in the future where I'll be doing, you'll have an opportunity to do more of this kind of stuff with me if you wanted to. Anyway, okay, that's it for today. I'm not sure when I'm going live again. I'm really struggling. Maybe Friday? I'm going this weekend to see my grandbaby. Oh, hold on. Let me show you a picture. Hold on, I'm going to show you a picture because he's cute and he's the best thing ever. Where is it? Oh, dog, I can't find it. Oh, come on. I sent it to Kathy. I know it's there. There he is. Look at him. Hold on. Hold on. Look at him. I mean, come on. Oof. I'm going to snuggle that boy. Okay, there we go. Anyway, so I think I'll go live on Friday because I leave on Saturday. If you want to get a text a half hour before I go live, all you have to do is sign up for text messages, and you can do so on my website. All right, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. And I have more ideas for embossing folders, so I definitely will we'll have to do another video sometime. All right, thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I will see you soon.